Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on the webinar this evening. My name is Steve Goody. I'm going to be your MC this evening, and we have Mr. Grant Hoey, the apartment master, with us. How are you doing, Grant?
Very well, thanks, Steve.
Excellent. And where are you today? You're in Auckland, are you, at home?
In the new offices in Vincent Street.
Oh, fantastic. CBD. Neat. Cool. Well, I'm here in Wellington, and it's been a horrible day. Wind, rain, it's very unusual. Wellington's much better than this normally. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to firstly say thanks to everybody for joining us on this webinar. You will notice that on the right-hand side of your screen, you've got a questions and answers screen, and you can actually type into that portion of the screen any questions that you have for us. So if you would like to now, just to show that you're live and here and that you're with us this evening, chuck in the questions section there, just chuck in your location, the city you're speaking to us from this evening, and then we'll basically know that everybody's online with us. You'll be able to find it under questions in there. Here we go, some people jumping up in there now. Auckland, Hibiscus Coast, Waiheke Island. Excellent, great. Awesome to have everybody online tonight. So that questions and answers section, you can actually ask Grant questions from there if anything jumps into mind over the course of the webinar this evening. And I'll basically play MC, as I said earlier, and I will ask Grant the questions that you ask of him. So there we go. The webinar tonight should take 40-45 minutes, depending on how much Grant and I guess on. We've known each other for a long time, so it could be quite a while. So yeah, we'll bang through it. So Grant, to give everybody a bit of an understanding of your history, you're a professional property investor. How long have you actually been full-time investing in property and real estate for?
Full-time from about 2000.
Yeah, cool. So coming up on nearly 18 years now, full-time property investor. How did you actually get to be an apartment specialist? What sort of turned you on to apartments, I suppose, over, stock standard, other investment classes?
Yeah, I sort of did a fair bit in the suburbs on the North Shore in Auckland, Greater Auckland area, and back in 2003 there was a lot happening in the CBD. There'd been a lot built and come to fruition, and there was a lot of people trying to get out of the apartments that they'd purchased off the plans and all that sort of thing, and there were opportunities created. So everyone was getting out. I thought, well, there's got to be some opportunities. If everyone's getting out, there's got to be a reason. What is that reason? So jumped in there for a good 3 to 4 to 5, 6 months to really learn the market and to understand what was going on. So that's what really caught my eye, was a huge amount of people were getting out of the market, and so I wanted to jump in and have a look and learn why. Is there any opportunities?
Yeah, there certainly seems to have been. I mean, when you and I do these things and we talk about apartments, one of the things that I really like about your psyche, I suppose, about how you work, is that I don't particularly think that you actually love property. I think that you actually love the profits and the lifestyle you can get from it, which is kind of a bit unique, I suppose, and it sort of makes you very original in your thinking, I suppose, about where property sits in your life. You don't have to love it. You just like the money that comes from it. Would that be correct, do you think?
Yeah, also, helping my clients, do the same, getting the successes that they do, big time in the central city, and using all my years and years of knowledge and experience to help them do that. Yeah,
because when you and I used to roll around and do some events and bits and pieces, 10, 15 odd years ago, and we were rolling around at that stage as the notable experts in our marketplaces, I suppose, and how many renos or how many projects do you think you've had a hand in for either yourself or your clients since then? I mean, it says on the slide here, obviously renovation expert, and anybody can sort of say that, but you've had your hand in so many deals over the years and since then. Would you be able to put a number on it, do you think?
It's a great question, and I often have over the years tried to figure out just how many deals I've been involved in, whether they've been small, medium or large renovations, and would have to be late hundred to thousands, but early thousands. It literally would have to be.
Yeah, for sure. And so realistically, you specialise in Auckland apartments. So we're talking downtown, we're talking CBD. And so, I mean, I do about 2,500 open homes a year, and I know that you do a heck of a lot as well. But you basically do it on foot, don't you? Because basically, it's all within one little, very small geographic location, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I say to my clients that you don't need a K, you just need a good set of walking shoes, and invest in a good pair of Nikes or something like that. And, we just walk from one side of town to the other in 15, 20 minutes. You try and drive that, it will take you twice that long.
Yeah. So then realistically, you must be in and out of the same buildings week in, week out. You must be looking, you go to a building, there's 150 apartments there. You must know those buildings and which side of the building to be on, what the body corporate's like, who the other people are in those deals and what they're like to deal with. Do you get to the point where you know that stuff inside out, or what?
Well, yeah, I've been doing it for 13 years full time, so there's literally there's apartments that we've traded 3, 4, 5, 6 times the same apartment and made profit every time. There's a lot of apartments I don't go in now because I've been in them numerous times. I don't need to see them. We have the photos, and we go in during due diligence just to check them out before we go unco, and that's it. Again, I know all the building managers, all the body corporate companies, the BC rates, the BC rules and conditions of the buildings, all that sort of thing. But we're always updating ourselves from current meetings, where we go to body corporate meetings on a huge regular basis just to keep up to scratch with buildings, because the situations can change within a building. We go to quite a few open homes, but I've been in a huge amount of apartments in 13 years. You can imagine what percentage out of the 35 to 38,000 apartments I've been in, it would be a huge portion of that 35 to 38,000.
Yeah. And I know I'm putting you on the spot here and we haven't discussed this, but what do you reckon's been the biggest change in the last sort of 10 years in Auckland apartment market? Would it be the size, the condition, the value, how people look at apartments? What do you think it would probably be?
Well, if we went back to 10 years, I would have to say everyone's attitude towards the central city. I couldn't live in a box like that. And the mindset has changed dramatically. In the last 2 years, a huge amount of our rental stock has been purchased by owner occupiers. And that's a huge amount of apartments, hundreds and hundreds of apartments people have moved in the central city. And then our rental stock has dropped dramatically, and that's why our rents have gone up, because people have learned and understood that the city is a fantastic, vibrant place to live, but also to invest short, medium and long term.
Yeah, well, it certainly has got a lot better. I mean, and then you look at the other option of buying a new build, and with the subdivisions they're doing now in both Wellington and Auckland, what you're buying is a single-story, single-level house of, say, 180, 190 square metres on a 350 square metre section, which basically means the view you've got out every single window is a fence anyway. So it makes apartments start to look like, a really viable thing. And I'm not saying that everybody on the webinar tonight should go out and move into an apartment. But what I'm saying is that the great unwashed public who look at real estate investments these days don't look at apartments with scorn, I suppose, the way that they used to, even 5 or 6 years ago. They're a very real option for people to move into and live in now, whereas maybe 10 years ago they really possibly weren't.
Yeah, absolutely. Dead right. Yep.
So what do you reckon is your stock standard trading model for apartments? What's plan A? What do you actually look for when you're out there looking to buy something to make some quick money off it in the apartment market?
Yeah, so a number of clients have got different buying rules. So it depends on the client, absolutely. But a stock standard, run-of-the-mill, straight up and down situation is that an average house price in Auckland is $800,000 to $950,000. We're half that for a 40 square metre apartment, 1 or 2 bedroom in the central city. So our average purchase price is $400,000. Our average renovation is $10,000. Carpet, paint, and a few other bits and pieces in there. So that's what we're looking for. That's our stock standard up and down, straight up and down through the middle is $4 to $420 and a $10,000 reno.
Yeah, neat. See, the $10,000 reno sounds awesome to me because most of ours are now $40,000, $50,000 or $60,000 renos. But you don't have to put a new roof on. You don't have to paint the outside of it. You don't have to repile it. You wouldn't have to rewire anything because nothing's old enough to need it, is it?
And remember that we're in and out in 7 to 10 days, and we've got a team of fantastic subcontractors that we utilise on a regular basis that just knows our model inside out, upside down. We take them in once. Just before unconditional, do the quote, do the plan, hand the keys over unconditional. They pick up the keys or the agent drops the keys off to them. We don't go back again until it's just about finished to make sure everything's done, sign off, keys back, agents got it on the market, all within 7 to 10 days.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. I'm starting to get a bit jealous. 7 to 10 days sounds pretty good. Our average reno start to finish is about 4 or 5 weeks. And, there's not a lot of holding costs with interest rates the way they are at the moment, but just being able to turn it over so quickly must be really appealing.
Yeah, and look, it's just hands off. If you're not handy yourself, you've got other commitments, you literally, you do not get involved. If you want to, you can, absolutely. But you make your money when you find your deals. You don't make your money doing the renovation and all that sort of thing. You pay people to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's have a quick look at some of these deals. You've got a couple of client deals here that you wanted to explain to us and stuff, and you haven't walked through this with me. So walk me through like I don't know anything, because I don't. Tell us about this first deal.
Okay, so yeah, just can you arrow down for me? I've just got a slide there. So we're in Anne and Peter's deal there in Fiore 2, is that right?
Yeah, that's the one. Fiore 2, 1 bedroom.
Yep. So this came to us from an agent that we've done a lot of business with, and said, hey, got this deal, and we run the numbers and all that sort of thing, and got under contract, and did the deal basically, and got in there, and got it sorted. Can you flick down the next slide? I'm not seeing it.
You got what I've got, which is a view of the kitchen?
Yeah, no, I've just got nothing here. Let me just try and hang on.
That.
I'll get it. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. How's that? Did it work better for you?
Yeah, cool. All right, so yeah, view of the kitchen. So this was a very, very simple, because what we purchased, the apartment was in fantastic condition. So Anne and Peter just basically threw some furniture at the property, because it was in such good condition and had been looked after by the previous owners. It's up Hobson Street. Just some staging went on, and then some furniture they put in. This one we supplied our own furniture rather than getting it staged.
Right.
So you can see the bedroom there. The bedroom there and that sort of thing. If we don't inherit a bed, our beds are 5 banana boxes in an air bed, or one of those flashy beds that are on legs that you get at the warehouse for $100 or something like that. And then
move it in and out,
Yep. Who wants to carry a bed in and out of an apartment, and you just fold it up and put it under your arm, and it's back in the boot of the car if you want to go to that extent. And staged this fantastically, basically yourself, with all the bits and pieces there.
So was there actually any reno on this at all, or was it just all give it a clean up, throw some furniture at it?
Yeah, just threw some furniture at it, simple as that, in and out, in and out in a few days. Yeah.
So purchase price of $410, selling costs of $24,000, sold for $480, profit margin $46,000.
Yes.
So what sort of time frame?
Literally a few days. It was probably Monday to Friday, setting up and just doing the few bits and pieces, including the photographing and all that sort of thing, and on the market within a week.
And so realistically, somebody's going to look at this and go, so like basically no renovation, you just dressed it, put it on the market. Why didn't it sell for $480 when it was on the market the first time?
Well, what we had was a motivated vendor who needed to get out and said to the agent, look, I need this gone fairly smartly, and so the agent knows us. and we're just happy. We'd negotiate a little bit on the price, and we did the deal. The motivation was quite high there from the vendor.
Yeah, do you reckon this is a fluke? Do you reckon this is just a one-off, or do you see deals like this on a fairly regular basis, or what?
This is our bread and butter, because it's all about your networks with your real estate agents, so they know us and they know what we're looking for. And when they get a vendor who doesn't want to go to market, who doesn't want to have the time frames and the costs of marketing and all that sort of thing, and are happy with the price that they were given, the deal's done very quickly. They got on the plane and went back to China.
Right. Yeah, so this is what I'm seeing down here too. It's a lot of off-market stuff going on, and really you need to be the first person that the agent thinks of and the first person the agent rings to get your fingers on these ones. And when you do, they're an absolute goldmine. So is there actually anybody else doing anything near what you do in the Auckland market? Is there anybody that you actually compete with? Who else specialises in Auckland apartments?
Yeah, look, people have come and gone over time, and a lot have have given it a go. And you just, with my knowledge and experience, you just got to know the pitfalls. You can just get wound up and, this is the deal because an agent told me it's a deal, I'll do it, and then they lose money. You've just got to be so experienced and know your numbers and know your market upside down, inside out. Plenty of people have had a go and haven't lasted long at all without having quite a considerable loss.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, magic. All right. And you've got a deal here from Gina, is it? Brooklyn.
Gina's first year. Fantastic 1920s character building downtown Auckland City, called the Brooklyn. A pleasure to do renovations and to respect the quality of a building like this. It was fantastic watching Gina take this apartment through its life cycle, basically. Went in there under due diligence with her and just saw what we were dealing with. Beautiful timber architraves and scotias there, and doors, everything there to deal with. It needed some work. There was no doubt about that. It hadn't been touched for a long while, so you can see during the photos you'll see some befores and afters. And that's the lounge afterwards. And Gina had this great idea. We're in the university precinct there, so Gina found this fantastic wallpaper that looked academic, as you can see in that. Yeah, and you'll see a probably close up of that further down. We really focused to keep that timber there aspect of the apartment, and that's definitely kept the. Yep, there's the after of the academic wallpaper, which is fantastic.
Really makes little timber jump out,
Yeah.
Great. And this is your design aesthetic or the clients?
No, clients. This is Gina's. Gina took this to a whole new level in here. She did a fantastic job. That was the kitchen before.
I love the before and after. The kitchen looks so heavy before when you see the after. It knocks it out of the park. That's awesome. So clean.
Yeah, absolutely. So great. Subway tiling, splashback around the sides really adds that little bit to it. Again, kept some of the wooden joinery there and that sort of thing, which was great. Put a wash machine in there to add to the value of the apartment. That's the bedroom before, and that's what Gina did. A fantastic job.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So this one you paid $461 to buy it. Selling cost $55. I suppose that includes the renovation cost, does it?
Yes. Yeah. That's everything in there.
Yeah. And then sold for $560. So you're maintaining that critical $100,000 margin between your buy and your sell price, which means that if you keep everything in line, you make a 40-odd grand profit margin, which you obviously did on this. Very nice.
Yeah, look, we'll take a lower profit margin, a lower margin if it means a quicker deal. If we've got in and out in a couple of weeks, we'll take the quick money. It's always the best money.
Yeah, fantastic. And how long did this one take then?
Oh, this was a few weeks. I think it was probably about 2.5 week reno, because she was quite a big job. The bathroom, we haven't got any photos in there. There's quite a bit done in the bathroom. The kitchen was quite a big job too, so it all added up to about 2.5 weeks, a little bit more.
You're still pretty quick to the people talk to around the barbecue that started renovating their house for 6 months, you know?
Yeah, you do get longer time frames with the older character buildings, for sure.
Yeah, just to get them right, eh? All right, so third one here with Lee, which is 96 Symonds Street, 2-bedroom unit.
Quite a contrast. Purpose-built high-rise residential right in the middle of this academic CBD university, AUT right there. This was an off-market product. Agent rang up, said, hey, got this deal, it's listed, it's priced, it sounds cheap, yep, let's do it. Got an offer on it there and then basically, and worked with Lee through the process. We had a tenant in here for a while, so we did our numbers accordingly to hold it and get paid rent until her tenancy came to an end, and then we got in there and did the deal.
Yeah, so basically, walk me through it. So predominantly agents give you a call and sort of bird dog or point to a property that's a really decent deal. What do you do for your clients, so to speak? So you tell them whether they're paying too much for it, all that type of thing. Handhold, do a little bit of babysitting, make sure the renovation's not costing too much. What else?
Yeah, look, that's exactly. We run a spreadsheet. So I get a call from a client saying, yeah, I've just had a money call from an agent, which this one was. It's what we call it, a money call. It's a deal, it's a steal, it's a sale of the century straight away. Yep, we run the spreadsheet. Lee and I have a chat. Yep, that's good. That's the price we go in at. We don't need to see it. We've got a couple of days due diligence to do that. We get the contract back as soon as possible. We either get in the car, we email it, whatever we need to make the deal happen, because it's time critical, and get it under contract, a couple of days DD, then we finalise our renovation with our renovation team and go from there, unconditional, pay the deposit, and in this situation, just take the rent for a couple of months, I think it was, and once she's moved out, the renovation team are booked, bang, they're in there and doing the deal. At the same time as the renovation is being done, the person, the agent that's going to sell it is getting the marketing plan all sorted, getting all the marketing booked, getting the photographer booked, and the renovation's hardly started. We're so far ahead of ourselves on all the deals to keep the flow going because it's time critical. Yeah,
I mean, what I get from my clients is they come to me and they say, look, the timing and knowing what's acceptable and what's not is the second best thing you do. And I suppose you get the same thing, right? Your client says, right, well, what do I do next? And you tell them, and then they go, well, what do I do after that? And it's just getting things lined up one after another in the right order and making sure they don't miss anything, making sure they don't forget anything. And all my clients say to me, you'll get the same, is that, that's the most important thing you actually do, which bears the question, what's the single most important thing you do? And that, I think, is when clients ring you up and they ask you, how much should I pay for this thing? And based on previous sales, experience, time in the market, feet on the floor, and based on the fact that you've probably bought 5 other properties in this building over the last few years, and you can scale the trajectory of values to tell your client exactly how much they should be paying. And I think that's what most people want. They just want the security of somebody who doesn't have a hand in the game, or who doesn't have an axe to grind, so to speak. Because we all go to open homes, right? And the agent says, oh, $450 is great money for that. And you go, oh, really? Great, cool. But how do you know, right? So I suppose when you're talking to your clients, you're the same as me. You're just there to make them money, not to, sing them a story and tell them a lullaby. You're there to actually try and make them actual real cash money for no other reason. Yeah. It's the number one thing I think you do that's, important to your clients is not bullshit them. Let's face it, right? Let's be out there with it. Yeah, great. Yeah. Cool. Exactly. So that was a 2-bed. Looks quite tidy.
Yep. The tenant was interesting.
Oh yeah. Sounds like the story there. Do I want to know?
Yeah, very interesting. So basically, we heard about it pre-market, and so it was listed officially, and the photographer was organised to go through to sell it, but we'd actually bought it before it was going on the market. So the photographer was organised to go through, and the tenant really didn't want anyone in the apartment, so she moved everything outside the apartment into the hallway while the photographer was in there taking photos, because she didn't want any of her furniture and everything in photos. So it was quite interesting.
So that's her furniture in the before photos.
Yeah, she's moving it out as the photos were being taken, so proper photos could be taken. Then she moved it all back in again. Yeah.
Oh, classic. And so this is the after. So you've just basically,
Correct.
tightened it up, cleaned it up, dressed it.
Yeah. So we didn't get many before photos. It's because we're very limited to what we could get from there. So it's all after photos. Yeah, we got the odd one there that Lee took with their phone, basically discreetly. Yeah.
But clean and bright, and
Oh yeah. The tenant did leave it in fantastic condition, but we still did the carpet, we did the paint and all that sort of thing, because you've got to add value. It makes first impressions when you open that door to open homes is phenomenal.
Yep. And nice view, nice outlook, bit of sun.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So this one you paid $360 for it, cost you $45 to do the deal, sold at $439, profit margin sort of 33.5 grand. Sort of ballpark time frame on this one?
Well, we held it for a number of months with rent coming in, which basically neutralised the outgoings. And so, but basically, when we had the keys, again, the team was already booked to do a renovation. It was 5 or 6 days of renovation, back on the market, and get it out there and sold. And it's a sought after building in a sought after location.
That's still impressive though, to be able to do stuff for $360 and sell it for $440 in the current Auckland property market, make 30s and 40s and $50,000 profits. I mean, there's got to be people in the burbs paying $700 for something that have to sell it for $850 to make a $40,000 profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much more compact prices, unreal. And in the burbs, they're probably painting the entire property inside and out and fixing roofs and going to so much more effort, it seems, than what you were doing with these apartments.
Yeah, they're just very, very simple. If it's more than $10,000 reno, I want to know why. Yeah, and if it goes over $10,000, I want to know why. There's got to be a very, very good reason. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a huge capital outlay to get your hands on it. And how are you finding lending with banks to buy apartments?
Yeah, look, it's actually, nothing's changed for us in apartments. With the LVR, we already were on very low LVRs. Anything under 30, 40 square meters, we were 50% LVR. And anything over that, we were 60s and 70s. So it's only the suburbs that have caught up with us rather than us catching up with them. So our LVR situation lending from banks has not changed. It was hard before, but if you look at it, it's probably got easier because the suburbs have come down to the LVRs that we've always been working with.
But it must be so much easier for your clients to get into doing this stuff. I mean, if there's people online tonight who are sitting there going, I want to be trading property, I want to be making profits that look like the ones your clients are getting, they must be sitting there going, geez, 360 buy price doesn't look that bad. And then if there's only a 10 grand I've got to come up with for the renovation capital, this must be half the price of buying any standalone home anywhere in Auckland, and then a third of the price to renovate it.
Yep, and we're really aiming for 4 to 6 weeks money out, money in. So 4 to 6 weeks meaning that we settle to buy and we settle and sold within a 4 to 6 period, 4 to 6 week period. So we minimise our holding costs as well, and more importantly, our risk.
Yeah, so your holding cost must be close to zero. It must be really bloody low. I mean, I remember doing this with 10 and 11% interest rates, and you must be going to main banks and getting sub 5% interest rates. It's just nothing.
Yeah, well, we're working on revolving lines of credit. So 5-6%.
Yeah, it's nothing. And what do you actually include in these selling costs? What's the 45 grand made up of? That's
So that's our renovation. Obviously, that's our marketing. That's our agents' fees. Anything to do with the cost of doing the deal. lawyers' fees, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just everything, any house staging or anything like that, you know. Yeah, brilliant. So tell us about your new offices, because this is quite cool. I like this. Doesn't look a lot like an office to me.
Yeah, this is a building I've owned in for 8 years, and another opportunity came up in here. So it's 135 square metre floor plate. The one I've currently got, I've got 5 bedrooms in there and a car park, and that's paying me about $1,200 per week. And I paid about $350,000, $310,000 for that many years ago. So you can see the cash flow has grown over time fantastically. So this opportunity came up. It's just a couple of floors up from my original one, So this property here had 11 people living in it, believe it or not. And sorry.
How big is the one you bought? How many bedrooms is the one you purchased?
It had this one here for the offices. It was 3 bedrooms, but they had 4 people living in the lounge, and couples and children living in the bedrooms.
Yeah, it looks quite disgusting, to be fair.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? Rip out the kitchen, give it a scrub?
Yeah, whole new kitchen there's going in. You've got some new tiles there. Pantry on the right hand side. Yep. And that's that's halfway finished. So everything's new, stripped right back to the jib board and framing, and that sort of thing. That's sorry.
You get in the frame there. What's that?
Oh, that's a certificate for doing some studies on financial advising and that sort of thing, and the pass certificate for that I've hung up at the front door.
Oh, beauty. Very nice. And so this kitchen now just has a range hood to go on. It looks like you need some door handles, and that's about it. But pretty much done and dusted, super clean.
I think the next slide should show a bit more as the next stage. Yeah, so I've got this. So glass splashback came up really well. We're going to tile, but trying to get tilers in Auckland at the moment is pretty much impossible. And we've been looking at these glass splashbacks for a while, so that's come up really well. Brand new, everything's new. Hunt around. We know where to get the deals from. Who's got the best specials on microwaves and stoves and hobs and expelliers and all that sort of thing. So, we're already, because we do so many, we've got ins with these suppliers, and we know where the latest deals are.
Yeah, and you're always, I suppose, the same as me. You're cheating. You just steal great ideas off other people and then find cheaper ways to do them.
Yep.
Yeah, very nice. And so, what are you doing here? Just opening it up a little?
Yeah, so it's pulling down a wall, getting rid of a bedroom, ripped up all the carpet. That was original carpet and original underlay. The underlay was the carpet and underlay was 20 years old, and literally when we pulled up the carpet, there was no underlay. It had just absolutely disappeared completely. Yeah.
Those curtains on the left are awesome. I hope you saved those. They make great for, paint mats.
Yeah, they got well and truly used with the painters. Drop cloths. Yeah.
Yeah, so you tore it all up, got stuck in, and turned it into a coaching venue, right?
Yep, that's the meeting room, seminar room where we sit and we go through our deals each week, and all that. Yep.
Oh, very nice. Look at that.
Yep, so it's ready for the carpet layer to go in. And that's the finished product where I'm sitting currently, right there. And then, roller blinds in the windows and the projector up on the roof there. Yep, tables and chairs. Great view of the city through the office there. Yeah,
fantastic. God, is that the bathroom?
Yeah, that was a bath, and the toilet was next to it. And that's what we had the joys of starting with. I tell you, it was a major.
Yeah, it looks it. Fantastic. Oh, I don't know why you fixed it. It looks awesome the way it is, he said.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's a little bit, still compact, but she's clean and tidy, Yeah,
everything's new. Stripped it right back, screwed the floor down properly, then tile underlay, and waterproofing, and then the tiles, and yeah, we're just about finished in there. Just a few other little tidy up bits and pieces. And
so basically,
yeah.
what you're saying with us is that you do what you teach, and you teach what you do. You're still doing this stuff yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I do one or two trades myself a year, just so nobody can say that, well, you don't know what you're doing because you don't do it. You just talk the talk, you don't walk the walk. So I'm completely opposite to that. But I'm involved, boots and all, with clients in each deal anyway, walking through the deals with them, making sure that everything's going right and is on time and on budget, on time and under budget. Sure, yeah.
And we were talking earlier that the technology in each of these buildings has become hugely important to the tenants and the people you're selling them to.
Yeah, look, this is fibre in the building. This is future proofed, and if I ever finish up and move out of here, I've left it in a situation where it's going to be a high end corporate rental, getting hundreds of dollars a week from here, and so it's a dual purpose offices currently, but in the future. When I go and retire, I'll be getting fantastic cash flow, off this apartment.
Yeah, no doubt. Cash flow from apartments in Auckland has just gone bonkers, gone through the roof, and it's something I wish that I'd purchased 3 or 4 of and just sat on a few years ago, because they're only going in one direction, just absolutely through the roof. That's fantastic. So this is basically where you see the apartment, the market for Auckland. It's really going to get smaller, more subdivided, or it's going to go up and have better height, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So high demand. There's still big demand for apartment living, apartment investment, because it's the cheapest entry level property product in Auckland and the biggest property market in New Zealand. On average, we're paying $400,000 for a 1 or 2 bedroom, 40 square metre apartment. You pay double that, if not more, for a house. And you look at the deposits versus them both, is a huge difference to do either. So there's the supply still there, absolutely, and we're just not building enough. We've basically finished our round of construction now. We're finishing off the last few buildings, and that's it. And the new supply hasn't even touched the values. They've only pushed the values up in the central city. They haven't dragged them down, because everyone says, oh, you're going to have an oversupply and there's going to be too much product, not enough demand. It's the absolute reverse.
Yeah, it's the catch cry of everybody, in Parliament or in the papers or in the press or whatever. Yeah.
But, just knowing the market inside and out, knowing things before they happen, because the experience and knowledge, you see things coming. You see the little changes in the market, all your feedback from talking to agents, rental managers, building managers, subbies, workers, all those sorts of things in the central city. You walk around, you feel the vibe of the city, you see things happening before they happen, and it all comes together, and you just know which way you get a feel which way the market's going to go, all that sort of thing in the central city. We're quite unique to any other property market in the country.
Yeah. So this is all sort of stuff that you're going to discuss at your event. What are you, the 20th of May at the Millennium Hotel? You're running a full day coaching session for anybody that wants to come along and have a look. And you're going to talk about how sort of Airbnb's impacted the Auckland central apartment market, help people figure out how you run through your renovation ideas and thoughts and pricing, give them a wicked market update. And obviously you've got Tony Alexander speaking at your event for the market update portion as well, haven't you?
Yes, it's fantastic having Tony on board, and he's a real fan of Central City Apartments. He owns one himself downtown. He'll give us a story on how he came about that, and the story is actually really, really fantastic. And he's going to give us an update on just where the economy is and where he sees things going in the next sort of 3 to 6 months. So big questions around interest rates, all those sorts of things. It's going to be a crucial update for us all at the event on the 20th of May.
Yeah, magic. And then you can talk about rental demand and what pushes that, what influences it as well.
Yes.
Well, for those of you, by the way, that are talking about Tony Alexander, don't know who he is. He's BNZ chief economist these days, isn't he?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, so he knows what he's talking about when it comes to properties and value and supply, demand, all that type of stuff. And he really does speak publicly fairly rarely these days. It's more press releases and stuff. So to have him live in the room with you is, quite a great boost. He's really, really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And having a look at how international influences can influence the New Zealand, economy and property market and all that is going to be a great insight for us all.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's going on in future CBD developments? Where's it going, do you think?
Yeah, well, the golden rule with property investing is you always want to invest where there's infrastructure being created and built in a suburb, in a market in New Zealand. And this is a article that I put up last year, and I just wanted to go through it, and I'll go through it on the 20th of May for everybody again, just to see how we're tracking. So we've got the downtown shopping centre there. We've got the city rail link, which is well underway. It's fantastic watching that on a daily, weekly basis, walking around the city. This huge trench that we've got going up Albert Street, which is just going to be a credit to the central city, bringing more people in, more workers in, more people to live in the central city, and the ease of access and exit from the central city as well. It's going to bolster it massively. And there's
press in the last few days, apparently a train went off the tracks at Britomart and it made national news everywhere. The whole bloody city seemed to close down. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and that's the problem with having one way in, one way out. Once the rail loop, and that's why it's called a loop, you can get around. All the time that you've got a one-way road and you have a problem on that one-way road, and this is a rail, same thing. So having a loop is going to reduce that considerably.
Yeah, magic. I mean, Auckland's just come on like, you wouldn't believe. I suppose, being a Wellingtonian, we see it a little bit more because I'm only up there every few weeks, and the Britomart Plaza, that whole area down there, has just become this feeding area for apartment living. It's a transportation hub. It's food. I mean, I don't mean just viaduct pubs and restaurants, but I'm talking that downtown shopping centre they're putting in, that Fletcher's are doing down there. That's going to be a Westfield Mall. It's going to be 4 stories of underground parking. There's going to be a train station underneath it. Then there's going to be supermarkets in there. I mean, it's all geared towards, people living in the CBD and servicing the thousands and thousands of people that live in central Auckland now.
Yeah, we've got the Sky City, which is a massive investment. We've got the America's Cup. I invested in the Central City through the last America's Cup that we had here, and I saw the benefits that it brought to the economy and the Central City. So we're going to see a whole round of that again, which you've got to start gearing up for now. Huge amount of more people come in the Central City for that event. For the casino is going to bring conventions of hundreds and thousands of people to conventions there over the year. They're all going to stay, need to dine, need to drink, need to get around the Central City. That's all bringing massive amount of money into the Central City as well. So we've got a massive amount of growth coming for the Central City, and we've already seen a massive amount. And we've just got so much more to come. It's such a fun, fantastic, vibrant market to invest in.
Yeah, so what are they doing with the old viaduct sheds where they had the America's Cup last time? Because they can't use those again for this America's Cup, can they? Are they developing them? Or there's hotels or something going on there, isn't there?
Yeah, well, a 6-star Hyatt hotel. Who's ever heard of a 6-star hotel? So there you go. She's over half finished. They're working massively on that. They've got a lot of international labour on the property, which is making it really go on time and that sort of thing. It's just every day you go past there, something's changed.
Yeah, no, that's huge. It's so big for the CBD of Auckland. I mean, I've often not been the biggest fan of Auckland, just jokingly. You've heard me give it grief. But, I spend a bit of time on the weekends up in Auckland these days on and off, and the place just changes and takes over so amazingly. It's certainly become one of the big international cities,
And, investing in apartments, people have got to live and stay somewhere, and that's just bringing more and more people in the city. It's advertising the Central City and promoting it hugely.
Yeah, but more than that, people are actually choosing to live in those CBD apartments. So when you renovate these properties, Grant, Who are you selling them to? Are you selling them to first home buyers? Are you selling them to second, third time home buyers? Are you selling purely to investors who are renting them out? Do you know?
Most of them are owner occupiers, and that's why we've lost a massive amount of our rental stock, and that's why rents have gone up, because the people who can't afford to buy or are renting here for 1 or 2 years while at university or AUT, they're paying more rent because there's less stock and there's more people going to university. Most of our buyers are owner occupiers in some shape or form. We call them OCs.
Yeah, so I mean, as you say, that every time an owner-occupier moves into one of those buildings, it's one more less piece of stock on the investment market, and it just pushes those yields up. And they can keep building these buildings left, right, and centre, but there just doesn't seem to ever be an oversupply of them, does there?
Yeah, well, by the time a developer buys a piece of land, they have to demolish, they have to go through finance and sell off the plans, then they construct. The construction alone can be 18 months just constructing, let alone the whole year or 2 years before that. So it can be a 3 or 4 year process before you've got a multi-level residential building finished to go on the market.
Well, as a developer, I would say 3 or 4 years was probably, if you're lucky, the average.
Yeah, exactly. So
we've largely covered this slide, I think, to a degree. I think the reason why all apartments are a done deal and is realistically all of the stuff. Baby boomers downsizing, massive infrastructure. It's entry level compared to buying, any other real estate. And there's low supply, but then people must be willing to pay more for an Auckland inner city apartment than they would be to pay for the same property in the burbs when they consider they have to drive in and out every day. It just makes a massive difference.
We saw a big intake for a few years from people on Waiheke Island who were living over there but working in the city, or living over there working over this side and having to park a car. So we saw quite a few people, our investors, buy a bolt hole in Auckland Central so they could stay there during the week and they would commute home on the weekends. We saw a lot of that, and or just a car park. They would lease a car park for Monday to Friday because they ferried over, drove to work, drove back, parked the car and went home again. So we saw a fair bit of that. Yep.
You're exactly one of those. You've got a bolt hole in the city because you live, further north and with more space,
I'm just saving. The traffic in Auckland's just been driving me insane for years and getting worse and worse, and there's no plan to fix it. It's only going to get worse, and so I just save hours now. I can travel on the roads when it's quiet, off peak, and I get so much more done in my day. I can spend more time with my clients in the central city because we just park and walk around, and I can see things in the evenings and the mornings and all that sort of thing with the clients. And I'm not spending hours stuck in the traffic.
So much easier. Yeah, absolutely. So basically what we're saying here, I suppose, is that you're going to do this one-day training, and you pretty much only do this annually now, don't you? You're not doing it that much at all. So basically, if you really want it, sorry,
once a year, yep.
Yeah, get it done. So it's $47 a ticket. And basically, you're on stage with Tony Alexander doing some of it. You're doing a lot of it for 8 odd hours. You must be the country's most experienced and successful apartment investor. And basically, you just jump up there and you explain to people what it is you do, why you do it, how you do it, and walk them basically through all of the details of it. It's on Sunday, the 20th of May this year at the Grand Millennium. Grand Millennium, that's the old Rendezvous Hotel in central town, isn't it?
That's right, across the road from the Central Police Station and straight across the road from RTS Square. Yep, can't miss it.
So once a year you do this. So if the people online tonight miss out on your event this time, they're going to have to wait another 12 months to hear you do it. And realistically, we'll be in a different market by then. They'll have missed out on the opportunity of earning some really decent profits. And realistically, you're going to discuss your coaching program and give people the opportunity to join it if they wish. But essentially, it's going to be 30 minutes talking about your coaching program, 7.5 odd hours telling them exactly how they can do it for themselves anyway. Is that about right?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All up-to-date information. Yep.
So you can answer all questions on site. You're going to basically walk them through exactly where you've come from, how you do it, why you do it, where all the money's at, and show them the easy way to make some money in the Auckland property market, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's do a decent deal for these people tonight. They've joined us through tonight's webinar. We've answered a lot of their questions. We've got this event going on. Let's bang a special deal up. If they book a ticket in the next 45 minutes, they'll get it for $19. So instead of the normal $47 that everybody else is going to pay who's standing in the room there, if they book in the next 45 minutes, they can pay just $19. All they've got to do is use the old James Bond code there to qualify, and all they need to do that is go to your website, which is granthoey.co.nz. So if you guys have got a pen and paper there and you want to grab one of those special tickets in the next 45 minutes, scribble that down right now, www.granthoey.co.nz. You go to his website, there's a booking page there, and if you put in the 007 code, you'll get your ticket tonight only for $19. But not only that, wait, there is a little bit more. You're going to give everybody who turns up a helicopter, is that right?
Yeah, two each. Yep.
Oh, 2 helicopters each. Right.
Yeah.
Do you want to walk through what this is about?
Yeah, I've had some great times in a friend's chopper in the past, and I thought, well, this is I know one of the pilots that's in flight, and I had a good chat to Johnny and said, hey, what have you got on the go for deals and that sort of thing? I said, oh, well, let's put together a 30-minute scenic helicopter flight around Auckland, and come back to the Mechanics Bay chopper pad there, and jump in a taxi, head over to Hilton 5-star Hotel and dinner for 2 in the fish restaurant there at Hilton, right down on the waterfront, Princess Wharf there, fantastic views, and taxi back to your car at Mechanics Bay. And everyone who buys a ticket goes in the draw to win that prize, which will be drawn at the event on May 20th at the Millennium.
Fantastic. So basically, if somebody grabs a ticket to your event tonight, they're not only getting the ticket, less than half price, they're also in the draw to win this prize. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic prize, and the views up there are just absolutely incredible. And I've dined at Fish myself, and the restaurants and the food is divine. It's all included in the voucher. Come buy a ticket tonight, come along, enjoy the day, and you never know your luck.
Yeah, fantastic. So how about this then? How about I twist your arm a little bit harder? Why, there's not a heck of a lot of people online tonight, but the ones that have been asking questions, and I've been trying to ask you them, and you've been answering them for them, and they've been really attentive and stuck around. So how about if anybody buys a ticket to your event from the webinar this evening, they get 2 tickets into the draw for the helicopter trip? Would you do that for me?
Oh,
come on.
Yes, Steve, you're twisting my arm.
Well, I have now. I've kind of said it. You really can't say no now, can you?
That's right. Yep. Okay, you got me.
All right, so $19 per person. Grab your tickets from Grant's website, which, as I said earlier, is granthoey.co.nz. Use the old James Bond code there, 007, to qualify, and your tickets go from $47 down to $19. And as we said earlier, that's a full day of training on Sunday the 20th of May at the Millennium Hotel. Grant's going to be there, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, with Tony Alexander, head chief economist for the BNZ, which should be really bloody interesting. I mean, I'd pay $20 just to hear him speak alone. Not putting you down there, Granty, but he's amazing as well. Yeah. I think that's a killer deal. And if anybody online tonight is at all considering trying to make any bucks in the property market in Auckland in the next 5 minutes at all, this has to be a must-see event. Realistically, geez, mate, you've done well. You've got all of this experience, which is, if you'd spent 20 years learning your craft and anything else, you'd have 4 PhDs by now. And the amount of knowledge in that tiny little bald head with no hair on it, it must be absolutely legendary. And to have a crowd full of people be able to pick that brain for sort of $20 over an 8-hour period, I think that's the deal of the century. So I tell everybody who's online tonight, grab yourself a ticket. And if you want to take somebody with you, a partner, whatever, or a business partner, or somebody you want to do some stuff with and get them to understand what it is you're trying to do in property, grab them a ticket as well. Grab 2 and come along and be there on the day. And obviously, if you buy your tickets from the webinar tonight, you're at 100% higher chance of winning that helicopter flight than you would be buying it anywhere else as well. So there's your wee thank you for attending this evening's webinar. I think that's about us, mate. What do you think?
Yep, fantastic. Great job. Brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, you and I have done a couple of three of these webinars over the last 5 or 6 years, and I just got to say that I'm always boggled with the amount of progress you make and how quickly you make it with your clients. I do stock standard standalone houses, and it's just kind of slower. And what you do with apartments, it blows me away. It's so much cheaper to get to the same sort of level of profit than it is to do standalone houses, where there's just so much more work and so much price, so much more money you've got to have to go into it. So I've got to imagine your clients must be doing twice as many deals, and they're making the same level of profit that we are per house. So, I reckon that's a big hats off to you. I think that's pretty magic, and I think it's a testament to your integrity in the marketplace and the way people look at you, specifically agents bringing stuff directly to you because they know you're going to buy it. They know you're going to do good stuff with it. And I think it's a testament to the fact that you've been in the market just so long. You've really got this format, if you like, nailed very, very well. And, hats off. That's bloody brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, it's just a little quiet, untapped little market in New Zealand, and it's just a wonderful little niche market. It's just amazing to be a part of it and taking people along for the journey.
Yeah, no, fantastic. No, I definitely see that. No, that's magic. All right, well, I'm going to have a quick look at the questions here just before we go, and maybe you can answer a couple for us. How do you get units so cheaply? It appears you're buying below market value. How can you do this and then turn it around within a couple of weeks and sell for an extra $100,000? Great question. Thanks, Jeremy. Grant?
Yeah, so it's a matter of knowing your market, and vendors are motivated just to different levels. So you just got to go in there, do your numbers, and work with the agents and make an offer accordingly where the numbers work. Because we go to so many open homes, and our level of understanding and relationship with the real estate agents is so high, is that it's such easy money for them to ring us, say, look, I've just listed this property, here's the price, let's do the deal. It's all about those relationships with those real estate agents, because we just make it so easy for them to do the deal. We make the offer. The vendor doesn't have to accept our offer. It's an open market, and we make it attractive as we can for them to make it, to accept it, and away we go. Yeah,
absolutely. And I suppose additionally to that too, you're buying kitchens and paint and all that type of stuff in such a lot of bulk that your average $10,000 reno must cost anybody else $15,000. It must be the same.
Double it, triple it. We'll lose deals to OCs, which are owner occupiers, and we'll see in 6 months they're still renovating that property and it's cost them 10 times as much. And they're going to move in there. We're in and out very, very quickly. We've got the subbies on call. We know where to buy everything at the right prices. People off the street we're professionals.
Yep. All right, I got another question here, and I think even I can answer this one. The question is, how much are your coaching fees? And the answer is that Grant really hasn't told you the full gist of what it is that he's offering yet. He does that at the event on the day, and when he's explained exactly what it is that he's going to do for you, he then tells you how much the fee is for his coaching program and what's included, what's not included, and he'll cover that all entirely on the day. What I'm going to say to you is that for 8 hours of knowledge and expertise with the best apartment investor in the country, your investment in that is only $19. And you can stand in the room there. He's not going to put the thumb screws on, lock the doors, and tell everybody to bust out their credit cards, because I know the guy. What he's going to do is he's going to tell you exactly what you can do and how he can help. And if you wish to take up his offer, then you do. And if you don't, then you hope you've had a great day. Thanks for coming, that sort of thing. So he'll absolutely discuss that and disclose it completely on the day. The next question I've got is, how many of your clients hold properties rather than trade them? Have you got a number of clients that just buy stuff for cash flow and sit on them forever?
It very much a combination of both. It really comes down to what the client situation is. Ultimately, we all want to create a buy and hold portfolio, and sometimes people need to trade a few to get themselves in that sort of situation. Some clients buy one, hold one. Some clients trade 3 and hold 1. It all depends on the numbers. At the end of the day, the numbers are black and white, and we work them out, and the numbers tell us what we do with that deal. And it's as simple as that. And then we look at, right, how does that fit the client's buying rules and their financial plans for the short, medium, and long term of their investing career.
Yeah, very cool. And where do you buy your renovation items from? Where are you getting your kitchens from and your ovens, that sort of thing these days?
Yeah, it's a number of suppliers. Whoever's got the best deal going currently. Bunnings do well from time to time. Mitre 10 have the same product and special the next week. We search around the internet. We do a lot of word of mouth. Just seen a special here, a sales on this weekend. Being a group of investors where we're not only sharing knowledge, but we're sharing contacts as well. We've just seen this special, that special. We all share that. We better buy 2 or 3. We better stock up on our 2-burner hobs. They're a bit hard to get from time to time. So a client might buy 2 or 3 of those at a time. They're found on special Bunnings or Trade Depot down Nelson Street, all those sorts of things. So we're always on the lookout for new deals, but we've got our stock standard appliance sheds and Noel Leemings and Harvey Normans as well. But, we keep them honest and we shop around and get the best deals we can.
Yeah, and I suppose it comes down to word of mouth within your group. If you've got a crowd of people that are ordering a kitchen and a whole pile of appliances every single week, you're going to know where the cheapest and the best quality stuff is available, and act accordingly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, look, for a 45-minute webinar, we've now gone just on an hour, so I'm going to call it quits there, and I'm just going to say, look, thanks, Grant, for sharing your knowledge tonight with the people online, and for being such an open and honest guy with what it is that you do for a living and how you do it, how you work it. And my last call is just going to be to say to the people online tonight, look, realistically, if you spent an hour with us and listened to what Grant's got to say, it's pretty apparent that you need to be along there at his event on the 20th of May at the Millennium. That special discount code is open for another half an hour or so, I think it is, at granthoey.co.nz with a code 007. There's $19 tickets. You just literally can't do any better than that. If you have any trouble booking your tickets online there, in the questions section, just put in 1 ticket for me, please, and give us your phone number, and we'll give you a quick call tomorrow and just confirm that your ticket's been organised. If you want to do that rather than go through that whole booking process on his website, feel free to do that. We'll hold the ticket. We'll also make sure you get it for $19. We'll also make sure you get those 2 ticket entry draws into the helicopter flight and the meal at Fish, which I think is just won one of the Restaurant of the Year awards. So, I might jump in there and buy a couple of tickets myself just to see if I can steal that. That's great. But other than that, I just want to say thanks, you guys, for joining us tonight for the webinar. And obviously thanks, Grant, for, doing some nice slides and supplying all the content. That's magic.